Good afternoon, everyone. It's Phil Grant with Baird & Warner welcoming you to another edition of the Real Estate Minute. This is indeed where we talk about all things real estate, be it leasing, be it selling, be it buying, commercial or residential property, really in the hopes of helping you to make a more informed decision where your real estate matters are concerned. Now, today is Tuesday, October the 1st, so welcome to October. Welcome to the last quarter of 2019. It's hard to believe that we're at this point already, but we are. Still a lot of time left in the year, still a lot of business to be transacted. So we indeed do still have time before that calendar flips over to 2020. Now, if you were with us in our last episode, we covered the question that I get so often, and that is, Phil, what's most important when you sell property? And I gave indeed a multi-layered response to that question. We talked briefly about things like the location of the property. We talked about pricing briefly. We talked about marketing. We talked about the realtor you used. We really honed in, though, on condition. And if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I would urge you to do so, because indeed you will see what a premium I put when it comes time to condition of the property as far as separating yours from everybody else. Now, today I want to talk about pricing. I want to do it in a manner hopefully that won't put you to sleep, so we'll try to be quick about it. Traditionally, realtors, and I still use this today, is I will look at different ratios, different percentages when it comes time to putting a price on a piece of property. One of the things that I will typically look at is what is that ratio from a selling price versus the original list price of a comparable property. Now, in Chicagoland, you'll see that number normally between 90 and 100%. I did actually look today in Crystal Lake for the most recent numbers that were available for resale properties, and I believe that number was 95.9%, which is right in almost in the middle of that number. Now, there is a company called CoreLogic, and again, they have done another study. They look at an awful lot of things real estate-wise, and they brought out this study and basically told us pretty much what we already know. And that is, over the last few years, especially residential pricing has been ascending, which we knew, but they did come out and say that arrow that was going up is not quite as sharp as it was before. So what does that mean? That means that level of price increase is not quite as steep as it was maybe over the last couple of years. Now, what does that mean to me as a realtor? Simply that I really need to be even more spot on when we put your initial price out there for your property. Now, CoreLogic also brought about a different topic when it comes to pricing property, and that's really what I want to share with you today. Everything I do as a realtor is in my client's best interest, so I bring this up, I introduce this to you, just to kind of get your wheels turning up here and think, that might make sense. So what they did is they looked at the impact of price on visibility of property versus the percentage of buyers, or in regard to the percentage of buyers that are out there that will actually look at the property. So here's the way this theory goes. If we go out and we price the property at market value, we see, according to their study, that we're going to have 60% of the eyeballs out there to look at the piece of property. If we want to get a little bit more aggressive on the upside, and let's say that we want to increase that price by 10%, now what happens to our audience? According to their study, we go down to 30%, not as many eyeballs looking at the property. Let's say we want to be even more aggressive, and let's say we go up to 15% over the market value. Now what happens to our audience? As you can see from the triangle, we go to a 10% number of that potential audience. So what the study actually says is that, okay, well, let's look at it in an inverse manner. Let's take that market value. We know, again, according to them, 60% of the audience is going to be there if we put it out at market value. Now, what happens if we take that market value and drop it by 10%? What happens to our audience then? And as you can see there, now our audience goes up to 75%. If we get even more aggressive and we take that market value and drop it by 15% when we put our asking price out there, now what happens? And as you can see down at the bottom, we have a whopping 90% number of the audience that is going to look at the property. Now, what does this mean for you as a seller? It could mean, not necessarily, but it could very well mean that we get not only a bigger percentage of people looking at the property, we know that. Could we possibly get multiple offers on the property, which is going to take that pricing and drive it up not only to market, but possibly above market value, putting more money in your pocket, again, potentially. No guarantee that that's going to happen, but if we have a wider audience, and again, as your realtor, one of my main objectives is to cast as wide of a web as possible. We want to drive as many qualified prospective buyers to your doorstep as we possibly can. So again, another way to think about the pricing strategy as we go about pricing, whether it is a business piece of property or a residential piece of property. Another way for you to think about it might be a way to go. We've always got the traditional method that we can fall back on, but again, if we want to put more eyeballs on the property, we may want to think about taking that market value and dropping that a tad. Doesn't necessarily have to be 10, doesn't necessarily have to be 15%. But if we want more eyeballs and more potential prospects looking at the property, may be a very good way for you to go. I will also mention that if you are thinking of selling property, I would invite you to my website, which is philgrant.bairdwarner.com. On there, there's a very cool tool for you to use. It will give you an idea as to what your property may be worth. You can call me, we can fine tune it, put the marketing in place, and get your property sold. As always, I would invite you to visit our new YouTube channel. Look me up at Phil Grant, SRES. Go ahead and subscribe to that. You'll be able to see all the past videos, and if you subscribe, obviously you're going to get the new videos as we come up. And again, we do this in hopes of making your real estate life more informed and better for you. So I thank you for spending some time with us today. Very nice of you to do so. I will turn the camera off now, but again, don't turn off your chance to get your property sold. Give me a call, 815-788-2198. Phil Grant with Baird & Warner. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.